Alright, so the project for today is we're going to do some of our HD billet radius rods, which is a non-adjustable high clearance lower billet aluminum with an adjustable upper. Pretty simple on radius rods. Today we're doing it on a 19 1000, so the radius rod bolts on a 19 will be all 18 millimeter. If you have an older machine, 2017 and before, if it's a 1000, then it'll be a 15 millimeter. Unless it's a 2017, that's a mid-year. Half is a 15, half is an 18. That's the socket size, not the bolt size. So then we got a 15/16 wrench. That's just to tighten up the hems on the upper radius rod after we get her adjusted. So let's go ahead and get this thing apart. Up my wrench. Pretty simple process. Minus it sucks to get to the one bolt. Pull these outer radius rod bolts off. Pop those loose. Pick up on it, pull that one out. Pull this bottom radius rod bolt out. Alrighty. And with all things, I like to put the bolts back in stuff because I don't like to look for them. So it slows it down a little bit, but does it really is the question. So pull this over. This factory radius rod out the way. Bam. Alright. Next, pull off the inside. This is great fun for anyone that's ever done any of them. I'm sure you know. It's a little fun getting to the nuts in the back side of here. Dude. Jason, we're in the video.
Oh. I didn't realize you were video.
Owner the razor showing up being in the way. He also does powder coat here. So, once again, put the bolts in here so we don't have to look for them. The fun one, the lower. To say there's a good way to do this would be lying.
It's a pain.
Yep. It's just the fact of what it is.
Keep a magnet handy.
Yep.
In case you need it.
So that's pretty simple. Uninstalling radius rods. They're probably one of the easier things to do. We'll go over here to the table. So obviously ours are considerably larger, especially the lower. They're a lot larger and high clearance. So the reason I got this factory trailing arm up here on the table is I'm gonna go ahead and show you what you have to do. If this machine already has our ORB trailing arms on it, so it's not a problem, but on your OEM factory turbo trailing arms, this little corner right here, this corner will rub the back side of the radius rod because your factory rod's so small and ours is so large. So what you have to do is you have to just grind this corner off right here, pretty much make that straight. Just clearance that corner, and that'll give it clearance to clearance the back side of the radius rod. Only on the OEM stuff, you don't have to worry about. Most aftermarket, you're fine. Not a big deal. I mean, it's so close you can usually install it. It's just gonna rub and make noise or just, you know, gouge your stuff up. So we'll go from that. We'll go ahead and get our lower put on for this side. It's easy to tell if you get our billets and you're just looking at them and maybe the spacers are wrong, who knows what. The end with the hook in it is the wheel end.
There's a better angle of this right here for you guys.
Frame end, wheel end. You can kind of see the difference in the way they're shaped. So that's the quick basics of it. So get these zip ties cut off. We generally zip tie all our stuff when we ship it, just for the ease of making sure, one, that you got everything, and two, helps you kind of know where it goes. So pull the inside frame bolt out for the lower. That way we can use it to install this one. Pretty simple, slides right into place. And this bolt is beloved for most people. It is a good time to get this started. Get the nut on the back side of it. Most smart people would just edit this video and already have it. I didn't grab the wrong bolt. Look at me talking and got mixed up.
We're gonna show you guys difficulty here.
Well,
No edit on this part.
I grabbed the hub bolt.
We got the hub bolt.
Not thinking. Can't take Jason over here creeping on me. It's really awkward. So anyway, get that started. I'm exceptionally good at this, I guess, because a lot of people have a lot more trouble than me. I think it's mostly just because I've done so many. And I just have long hands, fingers. But let's get that one started. So that they're not clinking together, we'll go ahead and put the wheel end in. So we'll go ahead and put the wheel end up in here. It's definitely a close, tight fit in here. As you can tell, the radius rod's so big that it's a nice, tight fit. Get that turned. We use all step spacers, so you don't have to try to get hold all this crap together while you line it up. Sometimes these hubs are a little bowed, so it makes for an exceptionally tight fit. That's normal, especially because, you know, they're tightening them down so tight new. We always install our radius rods, like I say, from the front to the back on the radius rod bolts, and that helps with a couple of things. Get this pushed over a little. I'll have to get the old handy dandy mallet. So close. Need a alignment bar.
I need a bar.
There it is.
There it is.
It is as snug as a bug in a rug fit right there. About as much clearance as you can get out of one. So that's the lower, pretty simple. It doesn't adjust or anything, so there's nothing to it. After that, you'll notice, just comparing this other side, that the uppers are actually shorter than the lowers, in case you do like I did, and you use the upper bolts on the lower right there. See? No, I did them right. The shorter one is the upper. A little trick for getting these put on, getting your uppers adjusted. You take, probably be easier from the other side maybe.
Let me go around you real quick. Oh yeah, for sure.
So make sure this is the right upper. It says ORB in it, so you have to put one way, one the other way to be able to read it. That is the correct one. So in our radius rods, you'll notice the spacers. You have a thinner one and a thicker one. The thicker two spacers go towards the frame, and then one of the two is thicker than the other. The thicker of the two goes at the frame. So thick side toward the frame, thickest against the frame. Pretty simple. So we'll go through, get all these beloved zip ties off. Should have put that in my tool list, I guess. A pair of dikes. Cutting all these zip ties free. It's a little easier than using a knife, especially on these times that are tight. Don't pull the spacer. Alright. So after that, these are a left and a right hand thread on the time joints, 5/8 times on the upper radius rod. So one of the easiest thing to do to get these the right length is set this up right here, like I said, left and right hand thread, so you can just hold one end, put the other one in there, thread it out till it gets close, right there. Use your factory one to set your length. See, it looks like that's still a little short because it's still wanting to pull it a little, so we'll go out another turn. But using the factory ones keeps you from having to pull a measuring tape 100 times to get it just right. So you look at it, make sure the bolts look pretty square. It's pretty close. Spin the nuts in. Lightly lock them down in case you gotta do some fine tuning afterwards. and then it'll be ready to put on the machine.
This step right here will save you a lot of time at the end.
Yeah, some people make them non-adjustable. We like to keep our stuff adjustable because different tires, different offset wheels. You can end up with some, you know, some camber caster issues by changing stuff because, you know, just the different setups and the different ride heights and all this stuff works on an arch. So it's what we generally keep our stuff pretty adjustable. Go ahead and pull these wheel end spacers out so they don't, if I drop them, I don't have to look for them. Like I said, the way it actually landed, the way I got the Heim setting, now the fatter of the two is toward the front of me. So they're just, you know, they slide right out, switch them around. That way they go in there the correct way. Let that sit there, get this one started. I generally leave all the bolts loose in the center until I have all 4 of the radius rods put on, and then I'll go back and tighten the middle bolts. That's just preference. Seems to be a lot easier for me. And then we'll grab the hub bolt, stick the spacers back in here. The 2 at the wheel end are just thin. They actually are no different, so they're both exactly the same. Right there. Pull this brake line over out of the way. Get it underneath it. There. Push up on this. Got that in there. And then that is the majority of it right there. Just look at it. Tighten up the hub bolt.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, big clearance. I even spelled ORB right. All 3 letters. Get that torque down. Tighten up the center. The best part's when you have like a cage or something and you can't get to the plate, get through the plate like that. It makes the best thing a little harder. And after that, you just set it down on the ground. Maybe you might need to fine tune your upper radius rod a little bit to get your exact camber that you're wanting. But that's pretty much it for the radius rods. And like I said, if that one bottom corner will hit on the rods sometimes, so you may have to clearance that out on your OEM trailing arms. And that's about the gist of it.
Clearance. Remember, OEM.